Salsa tatemada. Tatemada means roasted, toasted, burnt, charred, or grilled. Whatever you call it, this salsa is delicious. Salsa tatemada is probably the most popular way to make salsa in South Texas and in northern Mexico. To make this recipe, you just need to take your favorite ingredients and char them on the stovetop burner, in a pan, on a griddle, or over the fire while you're grilling meats. In this video, we're gonna make two different salsa tatemadas, one the old school way in the molcajete for a smaller serving, and the second one in the blender for a bigger batch when you need a crowd pleaser at the carne asada. Both recipes call for charring all your ingredients. For the molcajete recipe, we're gonna use 1 clove of garlic, 1 roma tomato, and 1 serrano pepper. For the blender, we're gonna use 4 garlic cloves, 3 roma tomatoes, 1 red jalapeno, 1 green jalapeno, 1 guajillo pepper, 1 red habanero, 1 orange habanero, and a thick slice of onion. Watch out, this one's hot. Make sure you have the fire department on speed dial. Remember, you can always add more or less of any ingredient to achieve the heat or consistency that you prefer. Now let's make some salsa tatemada. Boom! I've got my pan here, we're ready to go. I've got my little stove, I'm gonna fire that up. And I'm gonna set this to about a medium. There's no oil required. You don't have to do anything. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow out my fire. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the jalapenos. I'm doing 1 red jalapeno, 2 green serranos, 1 green jalapeno, 1 red habanero pepper, 1 orange habanero pepper. I'm gonna do the tomatoes last because the skin on the tomatoes tends to stick more, so I don't really want that rancid taste on my chiles, so I'm gonna do that last. I'm just gonna take 1 slice of onions. I do like to take out the little core here. We're gonna lay that right here. I'm gonna put 5 garlics in here. Now the trick with the garlic, you wanna make sure you leave the skin on. You don't wanna take that off until after the garlic is cooked. I'm also going to do 1 chile cascabel in here. I'm gonna take the seeds out first. You wanna make sure you rinse all your chiles and the onion before you put them in the pan. And then basically all you gotta do is let that pan get hot. You don't want too hot. You're not trying to burn them to the point that they taste ugly. You just want to give them a nice char on each side, or as much as you can all the way around. Our onion's starting to let out some moisture over here. You can see that just starting to steam there. I'm gonna cut this in half so it'll burn, so it'll roast a little bit better. One of the reasons we came outside to do this process is because they do let out a lot of aroma. You can smell the onion already, and we just got started. You can smell the chiles toasting already. Can you hear that sizzle? That's the onion. That's what you want. You want a nice little char. Just like that. This is very, very similar to the fire roasted salsa, but it's gonna have a different flavor. Basically, you're getting a nice char without the smoke. Look at them dancing. They'll start to dance. Once they start to cook a little bit, these chiles, they'll start doing the pit dance. Some people like to really burn them up on all sides, really roasty toasty. I like to just put a nice little char on them. One of the things you gotta have when you do stuff like this, you gotta have a little patience. Don't get in a hurry and try to cook them too fast or too quick. They'll be fine, just give them a little time. They'll get nice and toasty, you see that? You want a nice char, not a burn. All right, I'm gonna take these out. These are done. These serranos are definitely just about done. You can tell they got really nice and roasted all the way around. All right, I'd say these habanero peppers are done. They look pretty good to me. This jalapeno is ready to go to the blender or the molcajete. I'm gonna go ahead and put these tomatoes in here and let them go to town. The trick with the tomatoes, you wanna roast them at a little lower temperature than your peppers. At least that's what works for me. If you cook them too hot, they burn a little too much on the outside and you get a little bit of that rancid taste. But if you cook them nice and slow, let them roast and toast, you won't get that burnt taste. You'll have a roasty flavor, but not burnt. I like to cook them on all sides as much as possible. Stand them up on the end. All right, friends, we're done. We're gonna go ahead and get these tomatoes off. We're gonna go inside and let's go ahead and make 2 salsas, one in the molcajete, one in the blender. Let's go ahead and get this molcajete salsa going. So we're gonna peel all the skin off of the garlic. And I want to do the garlics first. Salsa always needs a little bit of salt. I'm going to use salt, pepper, garlic, the OG. I'm going to call that about 1/8 of a teaspoon, more or less. I'm going to smash up that garlic first and kind of grind up that salt and pepper a little bit. After that becomes a little paste, I'm going to grab me a tomato over here. So I'm just going to knock that out over here, skin and all. I'm going to kind of give it a little chop. That just makes it a little bit easier to get it all mashed up. So we're going to go ahead and mash up the tomato. I like to do the tomato first because it will begin to dissolve the salt. And you can enjoy the salsa a little bit sooner, in my opinion, when the salt is totally dissolved. Then you can add some more if you think you need it. All I'm going to use in here today is one of the serranos, and I'm going to cut that up into little pieces first. I'm also going to put a little bit of onion in here. Drop it in here. All right, friends, you want to smash up the chilies and the onion as much as possible without trying to take a bath with the salsa the way I did. All right, so just smash it up to the consistency that you like. You could add another tomato to this if you want to tone it down, make it a little bit more mellow. I'm going to give it a taste and see where we're at on the heat. You never know with serranos and jalapenos if they're going to be super hot or super mild or somewhere in between. I'm fixing to find out. Look at that pretty color. You see all that little char there? That's really good. Hoo-wee! One serrano. That's hot. Even for me. I think it needs a little more salt, so I'm going to put a little bit more OG in here. So at this point is where you may want to mash in another tomato. That looks beautiful. That looks really nice. You have the onion, the chile, the tomato, and that really good garlic flavor. And it's hot. This is basically the same style of salsa as our boiled salsa, except that this has the chile, the tomato, the garlic, and the onion all roasted together. So it does give it a different flavor. It really is delicious though. Fantastic. We're gonna make us a salsa tatemada, but in the blender. I like to start with one of the tomatoes. Today we have 4 garlics here. I need another tomato in here. There's not quite enough liquid to liquefy those garlics. I'm also gonna put the guajillo chile in here. So we're gonna get that in there first along with the garlic and the tomatoes. You wanna make sure you get that cascabel really nicely chopped up into pepper flakes. So you might need to push down a little bit and do it again. I have one more tomato to go. I have the red jalapeno, green jalapeno, and the green serrano, and a little bit of fire. 2 habaneros. Then we also have the rest of the onion. We don't need to make a giant batch for my house because I'm the only one that eats the really hot stuff. So here we go. And like I say, how thick the salsa is, how chunky it is, it's really personal preference. So once I blend it a little bit, I like to give it just a couple of pulses. Now I'm going to check it and see where I'm at. It's a little bit thick. Ooh, it smells good. I'm going to go ahead and add a teaspoon salt, pepper, garlic, which is OG. And I'm going to add a little bit of water in here. Wound up being about a 1/4 cup of water altogether. We're done. All right, my friends, let's pour this in here and see what she looks like. Ooh, that looks pretty, 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 pretty. I can smell this. It's hot. Whoo! For this one, I'm going to do like my wife. Just kidding. Let's see what we got here. I'm pleasantly surprised that it's not burning me up. I'm shocked that with 2 habaneros, it's not on fire. But it has a nice lingering bite, kind of comes on afterwards with those habaneros. I'm gonna put another teaspoon of OG because it does need a little bit more salt. One of the things about habaneros is that they don't always hit you up front. They come in like a steamroller, low and slow, and then they smash the crap out of you. I like it. Both of these are salsas tatemadas, roasted, toasted, charred, grilled, or burnt. However you want to call it or how far you want to take it. I can tell you now, after I had a few chips, woo, that habanero started to kick in and I started to sweat. And I could feel it around my lips and my mouth. Not really bad, but it was definitely there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Me and Terry had fun making it for you guys. We hope you enjoy it. Tag me, hit me up when you make your salsa tatemada. If you do it different, go ahead and tell me in the comments how you like to do it. If you're interested in our wow rub and OG rub, you can find those at pitmaster.us. If you want to kick up your barbecue game, go to pitmasterclass.us. We love these salsas, and I know you're going to love them too. Keep the smoke light, make it work, make it a wow kind of day. Boom! I like them both. They're fantastic.
Good and
How many of each chile? Of what type of chile? How many tomatoes? How many garlics? Onion or no onion? That's really up to you. This one's saying, Peggy Sue, pretty, pretty, pretty Peggy Sue. We are ready to make 2 styles of salsas with our salsa tatuada. With our... There's a story behind that. We used to own a little Mexican food restaurant, and my cook one time said he was going to make a salsa tatemada. Well, I was kind of standing over there talking to a customer, and I heard tatemada, but what I heard was tatuada. Tatuada means like tattooed, right? That's what I thought it meant. We were tattooing the chiles and the tomatoes, like, you know, because they're getting charred. I was thinking that was what the tattoo was. So for years, I went around saying salsa tatuada. It's not tatuada, it's tatemada, which means charred, grilled, roasted, or toasted, something along those lines.